takes it away. Oregon and Washington for the 114th time. And we will get eyes first on Michael Penix Jr. from Rome Odunze, and it's a throw for Penix on first down, and it's on target for Odunze.
You know it's coming in this building.
Camden Davis gets about a yard, if that. Mace Funa, the defensive end, with a stop.
So you watch that previous run, right? Get outside of containment. Not this time. Funa does an excellent job. Gets his hands free, keeps his outside shoulder free, turns the run game in, and makes the third and extra long.
Oregon's 126th in the country at getting off the field on third down.
They just want to get half of it because I think it's going to be 4-down territory all over the field tonight.
Oregon rushes 4 from the edge. Penix gets away and runs for the first down. Johnson had him in the crosshairs, but got enveloped by Funa, actually.
Yeah, both of them from the edge here, and you've not seen Penix have to do this much this season. He, too, has not been sacked much, but that's what he was known for in his early days. Before ACL injuries, before shoulder injuries, he was an elusive QB in Indiana. And what an enormous conversion with his legs.
Take the toss. Throw it down the sideline. Beautiful catch by Culp, the tight end, for a first down, Washington.
Those 3rd and 15 conversions suck the life out of a defense. And I just got to tell you, there's nothing more confidence instilling offensively and demoralizing defensively.
Especially when the defense gets home like they did on that 3rd and 14. Empty. Penix knew he had to get rid of it, and incomplete for Culp. Second down.
This is what 5 years of experience does. Penix is going to feel and know he's got an unblocked defender. Empty formation, you only have 5. The line slides to his left. He doesn't even have to look at DJ Johnson. He knows that that little kiss is coming.
I thought it was interesting the way he put it to us. He said, Penix did, I don't want to get stuck with the ball.
I need to know where every one of my outlets does. And he sure does.
That's a middle screen for Davis, and it's blown up. Noah Sewell was right there on his hip.
We have seen from the all-conference player the last couple years, you've got to defeat 2 blocks. He anticipates that middle screen. He beats 2 linemen. And here we go again, Jason. A 3rd and extra long situation. Can the Ducks get off the field?
They break off Westover, the tight end, to go outside at the top of the formation. Penix to the sideline, and this is complete to Odunze for a first down.
And of all of the throws that Michael Penix makes, this is his best. This is where you see that elite arm strength show up. Doesn't matter what hash he's on. That is an out route, and the ball is out well before, and it hits him right in the rib cage. 3rd and 14, 3rd and 10. The number 2 third down offense in America showing you why.
You just said it. His awareness of where everybody is and where the ball needs to go is exceptional. Empty again. Penix, first down throw. It's incomplete. 12th play of the opening drive for Washington. They run. Taulapapa is in. Untouched and undaunted, the Huskies.
By Nivalu right here. This is where the 2 get it done. I mean, look at this hole that those 2 men create. It has been the left side of that line that has been the dominant. But the right side there, Rosengard in particular with the kick out. From 2 drops, 2 penalties, and a 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 14 as well.
Chris Hutson back to receive for Oregon. Hutson to the outside, got a big block. and he's across the 35-yard line. And we welcome you to Bo Nix and his home from Alabama to here in Eugene, Oregon, and Lane County. He has become an undeniably, brilliantly accurate passer. 22 passing touchdowns, but also the feet have been a major weapon for him at the goal line, in the red zone. What do you make of this transformation?
Confidence, ownership. He knows this is his system. Kenny Dillingham is OC, one of the best in college football, is putting a quarterback in a position to maximize his skill set. And that's exactly what they've done with Bo this year.
Formational changes from both of these teams. You see Irving going to the backfield. Matavao, the tight end, attaches at the bottom. And Nix steps up in the pocket. He's only been sacked once this year, and there are the legs into a slide short of midfield. This Oregon offensive line anchored by Alex Forsythe, who has in the past even checked out of plays for Bo Nix. He watches so much tape. Bucky Irving has been a revelation in the backfield this year out of the Chicagoland area. And we see Bucky Irving get a first carry and break a couple of tackles for no gain. Braylon Trice was in there first. On the other side of the line with him is Jeremiah Martin, who is a violent hitter at the defensive end spot. On the second level, Cam Bright, 51 tackles this year for him. And then in the secondary, Asa Turner, according to Caleb DeBoer, has to have an above-average game with all of the binds you get put in as a safety against Oregon. Nix has felt a little heat here. He does get it away for Irving, and Dominic Hampton with the stop. But he's had to move his feet a little bit.
Well, he's going to, because it's a very active Washington front. But kind of like that first scramble, that's the danger contact.
Irving, one of the best at breaking tackles in the Power 5. Bo Nix off play action. Steps up, snaps it off, and it's Troy Franklin, his favorite target for a first down, Oregon.
The Ducks love the play action, and what it does at the second level in the windows that it creates. RPOs, play action, movement, so many different tools in the tool bag.
It's a run, it's Whittington coming back, and a flag is in. It's first and goal if it stands for Oregon.
Personal foul, hands to the face, 58 of the offense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, still first down.
They get Jackson Powers Johnson, the sophomore.
And I think it is actually going to be Harper coming across here. It may be both of them, but you'll see the hands right there go up to the head. That's actually 55 Harper. Powers Johnson never happy, nor his parents, about the wrong designation of an O-lineman.
You don't want that to happen.
No, you don't. Huskies overcame a couple penalties on their opening drive. Here's a biggie for the Ducks to do the same.
That's 32 yards that go away. Would have been first and goal inside the 5. Instead, it's a run for Bucky Irving, who wanted to break the tackle of Mishael Powell. Second down coming up, and Oregon is very dedicated to running the football.
With 4 different backs, with a quarterback, times it can even involve tight ends. And for these corners like Powell, you already saw with Perryman, you are going to have to be secure, because this group up front gets a body on a body. And it's imperative of the guys on the back end to be sure tacklers in space.
It's a freshman, Jayavion Green, coming in at the bottom of the screen. Nix rifles this over the middle, and he's got the tight end, Terrence Ferguson. So it's third down and long for Oregon. Third and 13 for Oregon. Nix felt it that time and had to spit it out quickly. It's incomplete. Braylon Trice got in there and busted down the door.
Well, it's these two edge guys, 6 and 6.5 sacks, and it's Trice on the left that goes right through Bass, the left tackle, right there. And Nix, again, you can kind of see those feet shuffled a little bit more than normal. He shuffles right into that contact.
43. This is on the way, and it is once again perfect.
That's a win for the Huskies. Match up fairly well, and no surprise to see both offenses go up and down the field. I think they will do that over the course of the night. Penalties, overcoming them, explosive plays will be the huge keys.
And Washington took the ball before the game in the first. They'll get it. Oregon will after halftime. That field goal kind of flips that a little bit. Washington, if you haven't seen the Huskies play, they were 4-0, and the big win was against Michigan State, a very highly thought of team in the preseason. They lose 2 in a row at UCLA, kind of the coming out party for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. But the last 3 games, including a defensive slugfest last Friday against Oregon State, have reestablished this team that was 4-8 last year.
But all the way along, Kalen DeBoer's offense has been electrifying, because this guy who picked this school to come to because of the supporting cast is elevating everyone.
Penix sets and fires right down the middle. It's a first down to Ja'Lynn McMillan, who had nobody around.
Ball just slingshot. Penix does not mind going to his right. Told us that. Said, I can go to my right, I could go to my left, and that time the quick flip of the hips and the rocket shot beating that zone coverage. You can see Bassa underneath it. You widen like that in zone and create those windows, completions follow.
So they've got some of that in the playbook. Miles Jackson in motion. It's a run, and it's Taulapapa who's driven forward right around midfield.
I think one of the keys tonight as well is this for me. When you're facing the #2 offense in America in their place, when you've got the veteran quarterback that knows your system inside and out, to me, you maximize every one of these possessions. It doesn't mean you get out of rhythm. It doesn't mean you totally slow it down. But if this is an 8, 9, 10 possession game, it's an enormous advantage for the road team.
They'll run it again, and Taulapapa, a little hesitation, breaks one tackle and pushes all the way across the 40-yard line. First down, and Washington has been able to run the ball so far.
That's run it to the right. That time they run it to the left. Luciano, the center, gets out in front of it. And if you add this kind of balance with the passing game, you put a defense on their heels. The Ducks are catching them right now. Right, they are not the ones that are hitting. They are not the ones coming downhill. It is the Huskies that are in attack mode.
A lot of discussion from Sewell there. And this is Camden Davis right up the middle. And you see the entanglement there after the play. Allison downstairs.
Well, we always talk about how this noise affects the communication for the offense, but the defense for Oregon also has to communicate through it. And if you watch them, guys, they are so demonstrative with their hand signals, and it's going on the entire time, especially whenever Washington motions or shifts. You'll see those hand signals change. Make sure everybody's on the same page and has the right call, because the noise is a factor for their communication as well.
And to that point, here's again Washington getting into a formation, and Penix making sure everybody up and down the line is on the same page.
Play clock down to 1. Davis on the run, and he's driven down by Brandon Dorless. Third down for the Oregon defense.
And Dorless is such a factor because he can slide up and down the line. He can play on the edge. He slides inside. And that's just a brilliant inside rush to create, here we go, a pivotal third down.
First third down of the drive. Once again, they convert. Ja'Lynn McMillan, who's been such a danger in the slot this year.
Filthy in the slot. Right, he just hesitates. Penix knows, boy, he has such trust, and he rips that tight spiral to a Dont'e in McMillan. That time he sets that route up with patience. He stares down Stevens in the slot, and he breaks away from him for the third down conversion of this quarter.
Oregon has touched the ball once in the first quarter. It's the screen. It's McMillan ducking through for a couple of yards. Keon where Hutson was on him, second down. It has been a sleek game of keep-away so far by Washington's offense. It's McMillan. He is undercut by the wingspan of Triquez Bridges.
Yeah, 7-foot wingspan. Triquez told us earlier, you get in that bunch formation, he knows, that's just studying. He knows something is going to be breaking out, and there you see those long arms like a pterodactyl wrapping up McMillan. In this building, I wouldn't mind going up 7 against these Ducks. I think there's a case for and against this decision, but I get it.
And we'll see how it plays in the long run with 45 minutes to go. And that didn't look very good.
That was a false start by the kicker.
Looked like it.
False start. The 47 of the offense simulating motion at the start of the snap. The 5-yard penalty is still 4th down.
He did simulate motion by moving.
Yeah, and that face by Ja'Lynn Polk tells me that I don't think he was trying to draw them off sides with a kicker flinch.
I don't think that's in the playbook. These are inventive play callers. That's unlikely. Peyton Henry, who won the game last week against Oregon State, his first ever game winner. Slices this one right on through.
Well, he almost looked early there, too.
There's a marker down.
Offside. No one of the defense was in the neutral zone at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. It is still 4th down.
Well, now, wait. Is Washington going to take the penalty? I don't know that they asked. Because if Washington takes this penalty, you're back to 4th and 1, and then you might go for it.
Well, that offense is huddling up right now, having that conversation. And Ja'Lynn Polk is talking undoubtedly to Ryan Grubb, his OC, up in the booth of what you want to do here.
Washington has declined the penalty. The result, the field goal, is good.
I like when the head coach is the get-back guy for somebody else. Hey, you're not going anywhere.
No, I think that there's a lot of conversation there of what we want to do here, and to your point. And I think because you're on the road. And frankly, the Beavers done that a week ago in Seattle and taking the field goals on the road instead of going for it. That could have been a different outcome.
My counterpoint to that is you did say, and we both believe, that the offenses are going to be able to get up and down the field in this game.
That's true. And Ja'Lynn said we're going to be aggressive. Dan Lanning said we're going to be aggressive. But I think you also want to pay off points. That's another drive. That's another brilliant drive of excellent execution against Lanning's guys. And instead of walking away with a 0, you walk away with 3, up 7.
Bulldogs certainly in the college football playoff conversation. The Oregon Ducks, as Hutson on a line drive kick, has an opportunity to return. He finds his way to the hash mark, keeps his feet to the outside, and once again is right around the 35-yard line. So if you haven't seen the Oregon Ducks and how they've flown since that Georgia game, come with us to Duckland. When you just waddle along toward the... Oh, no! That's terrifying, by the way. That duck got a face full of Bulldog. Then they win 8 straight games, 40-plus points in every game. You see a Skywriter put it up there for you. And it's just beautiful halcyon living on the duck pond right now.
Yeah, and they love playing here. I mean, done on the road, a couple of little tougher contests away from home, but for the Ducks, yeah, looks like he's got all his feathers restored from the Bulldogs.
Well, it looked like he was showing that cameraman what he looked like in the cartoon, which is a beautiful bit of synergy. Noah Whittington on the run turns his back and gets about 6 on first down.
23 in a row here, right?
23 wins in a row at Hutson Stadium. Since a loss to Stanford that they were up 10 in 2018. Whittington in motion, and Nix rolling with it to launch it down the sideline. Bo Nix, and Dont'e Thornton couldn't come back. That's the freshman green on the coverage.
It was, and I'm a little surprised that Bo did not take the flat. You're going to see the flat come wide open. He's got a choice here. Do I want to throw it in the flat to Whittington? An easy first down. Instead, he takes the shot. He's picking on the true freshman, but it's underthrown. And throwing outside the numbers is not the strength of Bo Nix. In fact, throwing outside the numbers are 116th in college football. They just don't do it much. You turn down a first down. You got to throw in the flat now, critical 3rd and 4.
Well, the seam has been their domain so far this year. Whittington, the back, got to snap it. It is Whittington, and he shimmies through for a first down for Oregon.
Yeah, we have seen these Ducks a bunch. And while Bo Nix gets a lion's share of the credit, it's the guys up front. Just look at it's like a Velcro, a body on a body. And then these running backs are no nonsense. They're like point guards in basketball that just go right down the middle of the court, and they trust the big boys up front. Ulu, Harper, Forsyth, an excellent job on that third down conversion.
Nix off the motion, look to his left, has time, now loads up, and he has to sidewind it out of bounds. The question is that a forward pass for Bo Nix?
Well, I think that is right down the line, but once again, pretty good coverage on the back end here. You could see Asa Turner, Alex Cook, the two safeties would be put in a bind today. Ooh, he may have had Franklin over the top of all of it. He was not looking there again. He loves to feast in the middle of the field. They take that away, and he's got to throw it away.
And the pressure is forcing his eyes to move, unlike we've seen on tape much of this season since that Georgia game. Bucky Irving back in, little dodge outside. Irving breaks another tackle, cuts it back inside, and just slices through for a first down.
Yeah, you're just going to see what he's done all season long. 8th in the country, over 4 yards after contact, and that's not good enough right there. And that's not good enough right there. And you have got to bring force. You can't stick an arm out. You can't just try to grab cloth. You have to go through these backs if you're the Huskies.
After the 21-yard run for Irving, it's Whittington on a short gain. Allison downstairs.
Well, keep in mind, guys, Jordan Perryman, the cornerback for Washington, is still out of this game. He left the field with what looked like a shoulder injury. It looks like they put some sort of brace on his left shoulder. I've been watching him. He's testing out his range of motion, but he remains on the sideline fully suited, and I would imagine they're just holding out hope he can give him something because they're so thin at that position.
Who'd they say their third or fourth corner was?
You.
That's bad news.
That's real bad news. At least it wasn't me. Second down and 8.
That'd be worse.
Thank you. Nix to throw. Little pat of the ball. He got it away. And it's Hutson breaking a tackle. Washington has not secured those highlighter-colored jerseys and a first down.
That time it is Asa Turner, and that's already half a dozen missed tackles on this drive. A group that averages 12 missed tackles a game, the guys in purple. And give some credit to Irving, to Whittington, to Hutson. They are slippery, powerful, and explosive.
That's Whittington in motion. Nix loves to run in the red zone. And a little hop through to the 9.
He loves to run. They love to utilize their tight ends. 10 touchdown receptions by their tight ends. That's 4 more than their wide receivers. So they love to use those big body matchups, be it Monteval, McCormick, Ferguson, even Herbert with the touchdown. All 4 of those tight ends very active as you see them get into 2 tight end set.
That's Ferguson and Monteval. Nix again. Bo Nix out of bounds, about a yard short of the line to gain.
The previous ruling of the quarterback making the line to gain is being reviewed.
He's carrying the ball in his left hand. He's out of bounds there. I think that ball, where's his right foot hits out of bounds, the ball is going to be short of that 3-yard line.
I thought so real time. It's not an easy call for the official. Yeah, where that right foot hits. Dean Blandino is with us. Dean, what are you seeing?
That last shot is the best look. Nix's right foot is going to hit the sideline. The ball is short of the 3-yard line at that point. If I'm looking at this in replay, I'm going to move the ball back probably just beyond the 4-yard line, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Thank you, Dean.
Good job by the replay booth to buzz down. Sometimes it can be advantageous.
After reviewing the play, the runner was short of the line to gain by a half a yard. It'll be 3rd down at the 3.5-yard line.
That's exactly the efficiency at which replay should work. That's a very nice job by Jerry and Rich in the replay booth, and Kenny Dillingham has to call a 3rd down play now.
And we know what he likes to do more than anybody in college football, and that's run the QB sneak. whether that's traditionally in the A gaps. You'll see Bo Nix bounce it out to the C gaps as well. Go up and down the line of scrimmage. And a ton of confidence in that play. Maybe as much as anything they do.
See, 94 is in there as well. That's Josh Cotterly Jr., who caught a touchdown. The offensive lineman caught a touchdown on his birthday last week in Boulder. He has been a tackle eligible for them. And he's the one standing under center. Now Nix is in motion. And everybody's moving. Two to snap it. And it's a fumbled snap. Ball is on the ground. And the Washington Huskies are on top of it. Tuputala runs away with the football, and all that motion, all the creativity finally burns the Oregon Ducks, just their 8th turnover of the year. Their first lost fumble all season in the red zone, no less.
Lots and lots of shenanigans before the snap. You see all the movement here. Bo Nix trying to get everybody settled. Look at this, Jason. This is going to be a walk-in touchdown right here. You can see the lane opening up. It's going to be a walk-in. Whittington knows it, but just never comfortable. That play a little indicative, and these Oregon fans know it, of just how uncomfortable their offense at times has been tonight.
By contrast, how smooth it's been the last 8 games. That is a thunderous end zone. Penix is standing in, and there's some movement at the line that Oregon conveniently points out to the officials.
False start. 37 on the offense. Penalty being forced half the distance to the goal is still first down.
Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, the Horseshoe in Columbus, and right here for yours truly, the 3 that were the most deafening in all of college football.
And they do just get it out of the end zone with Davis. He's right back at the line of scrimmage as his crowd will build again. Penix to throw from the end zone to the sideline, and Ja'Lynn Polk reaches out with a beautiful snag.
And he's the 3rd weapon. It's Adunze 1, it's McMillan 2, but a ton of confidence with Penix and Polk this year as well. Can't put in a better spot. Christian Gonzalez is all over. It's a terrific break. There's one spot to hit. He hits it, and Polk corrals it.
Third and 1. It's a run. It's Davis, and he's going to be very close. Really close, and it looks like short. Jeffrey Bassa got the hit.
Yeah, it was Funa low, it was Bassa high, and the shortest of all the conversions.
Trophy. Thornton in motion, Bucky Irving off a block from Ferguson again. Shoulder contact, and again a shattered tackle by Bucky. Very top of the screen, and it is pound the football for Oregon and Bucky Irving, who did have the 3rd and 6 for Bo Nix. Feeling the pressure again. He got away from Martin, turns it upfield, and a first down. It's a run straight ahead. Oh, he had it the whole way. He couldn't get the ball fast enough, Brock.
Well, you spread them sideline to sideline, and you can see that right here. I mean, Tom Brady loves to goose sneak, even at 44 years of age. That's out of the shotgun, but in essence, that's him to just pound the rock.
It's an onside kick. They've done it again, and this time Washington recovers it.
Right, they watched it earlier. They've seen it on tape. You see a backwards move, but the ball just bounced a little further than it did against UCLA.
Washington specifically said to us, we saw that onside kick against UCLA. We're ready for anything. And there, Alexander with a clean catch at a big spot. Oregon assuming they'll see the ball again. Penix loads up a throw, and this is snatched away. Gonzalez fighting for it. Let's see who ends up with the ball. McMillan comes away with it. Oh my goodness, he wrestled it away from Gonzalez.
And the Huskies hustling running to the line, trying to get a play called quickly.
Going is a completed catch by the offense.
Wow.
And Washington doesn't want to mess around with replay. They're going to run a play, and it's Taulapapa. That is really close, Brock. What strength by McMillan, though.
Unbelievable fight because Gonzalez has it first. He's got it right there, and they fight. Oh, boy. He pulls it away eventually with those strong hands.
Question you'd have if you're Oregon is, was Gonzalez down with possession of the ball? Second down and 9 for Washington. Penix steps up. Michael Penix. It's a couple of yards. Dean Blandino, you're watching that play. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, that was so close, and I think based on this last replay, I do think it is a catch. They're both going to the ground. They've got to maintain that control. The ball does not touch the ground, and it's going to be McMillan that pulls that ball out, but that was really close. I do think replay probably should have stopped it and taken a second look.
Don't think Gonzalez ever had full possession.
I think you're right on that. Dean, thank you very much. It sets up a 3rd down and 4 for Washington. Penix on 3rd down. Lofts it. Caught. Davis. And Gonzalez sideswipes it. And the field goal is good.
And the numbers tell you this is the best team in college football in the Power 5. 4 minutes before half, 4 minutes out of half. That critical juncture. We were here against UCLA, where that onside kick before the weather turned the game. And the Bruins were digging out of a hole all game long. You've seen Kalen DeBoer here now twice go against some of the new age book. But I honestly don't mind it on the road because you continue to put points on that scoreboard here.
We'll also say 4th down and 4 is different than 4th and 1. So you could argue maybe you should have gone for it the first time and then not the second time. However, Washington has the lead against one of the best teams in the country.
This phase right here has been a huge difference. The hidden yards that the Ducks have gained in kickoff returns twice and a short punt, they prove valuable.
Hutson has made his way to about the 35-yard line. This will be a fair catch for dollars, so they'll start from the 25.
And the tendency will tell you right now, especially in this situation here, the middle of the field, we've not seen a ton of seams, deep overs, posts, where they have been one of the best in the Power 5. This area of the field, right here, right in the middle, not outside the numbers, right between those hashes is where they love to attack.
Empty on 1st down. It's a jump pass for Nix, and he just spikes it short of Irving.
Was in the area of the pass.
Bo had a receiver coming into that middle of the field. It's a couple occasions. And Jason, your eyes saw it on the first snap. Bo Nix has been comfortable running it, but these ends in that pocket have been a whole lot tighter than any other game in Eugene this season.
Do you think it's just the sense of those ends closing in?
I think it's the rivalry. I think it's the emotion, and it's absolutely the feel of those big bodies.
Nix with his feet set. He's got Ferguson, the tight end, who's tackled by Bright. It'll be 3rd down and a couple.
Ineligible player downfield. Number 71 on the offense on the pass across the line of scrimmage. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Second and 15. Nix down the middle. It's Hutson. And down he goes, so 3rd down coming up.
So does Washington take that timeout here? Does Oregon play a game of chicken right here?
This is really right in the middle, you know? Do you run a play quickly? Kind of surprised Washington doesn't use the timeout here.
They're forcing Oregon's hand a little bit here.
That said, if you're going to take the field goals earlier in the half, you probably don't play it a little bit more reckless with that timeout. Nix to throw. He does have a completion for Irving, who shakes by 1. And now do you use the timeout, or do you just take this thing to halftime?
I take it here.
Final timeout of the half. Washington, with 30 seconds in duration.
But look, the discussions on the sideline.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Will Oregon go here? Because Oregon have the guts right now, 4th and 2, to say, you know what? I just tried an onside kick. We're going to get the ball to begin the second half. Washington burned their last time out. Are they hyper-aggressive and try to go here against William Inge's crew?
My question to you would be, what's the risk reward for Oregon?
Their punt team struggles. I think they're on their 3rd punter this season as well. Bo Nix on the field.
He's punted a couple of times as well, so that's a possibility here too.
Got to watch hard count. Try to get a free 5 to move those chains as well.
Both these staffs have discussed 3rd down, basically a 2nd down this week. It's 4th down and 2 for Oregon.
They can try to hard count.
There it is. They've got a tight end flowing the other way now. They're not going to go what they want on a hard count. See if they do snap it anyway. The answer is yes! Wow! He is really close.
I can't believe they did that.
I can't either.
When your O-line is sitting that long on a sneak as well. Holy smokes.
Dan Lanning's been so good in decision-making. Watch
Second
this.
time out of the half.
And this isn't 4th and 1, but once again, there is that sneak. The Bo Nix has been so effective this season. He just feels space. What an enormous risk. If you don't get it, you hand the ball to the Huskies. Kenny Dillingham does at the 35-yard line with an extra possession before halftime.
And now, because you risked that, right? Because so many chips were on the felt there, don't you have to take a shot now?
Well, you still got the 1 timeout, so you absolutely still have plenty here. You're working for just a field goal. I think Kalen DeBoer is wondering if they're going to measure. Is there any spot that's close? I don't think they do. I think he had the 1st down. I think DeBoer, like me, couldn't believe they snapped that after sitting at the line for 30 seconds.
You just never see that, Brock.
Rivalry.
Thrill a minute. Oregon and Washington. There's the shot. Bo Nix, middle of the field, incomplete for Franklin.
That kid can go. I mean, he splits this. He's going to run, he's inside, right the middle of the field. He is going to run right past the safety. Alex Cook is sprinting, but he's beaten. And we saw that dime for 6 against UCLA. That one just 1.5 yards off. Troy knows it.
He was very aware of the steps he had on Cook.
Those safeties will stay a little deeper.
You think maybe?
But if they do, that opens up the middle of the field, and you still have a timeout left, too.
Nix drops it off. Irving slides by 1. Bucky Irving out of bounds at the 42 with 15 seconds to go in the half.
Tonight, tremendous balance, and you've got to come in under a whole lot more control than they have this first half.
Nix rolling and throwing, and there he is again. Irving gets knocked out of bounds by Hampton. 8 seconds to go. 1 timeout still remaining in the half for Oregon. Dan Lanning showed early this year against BYU, our first trip in here, that he was going to be willing to go for it on 4th down in his own territory. He did it deep in his own territory here to save a possession. Field goal range is somewhere in that vicinity around the 30-yard line with wide open space here at Hutson Stadium. Where does Nix attack? The answer is to the sideline. It's Franklin out of bounds, and now at least you have a crack at it.
Lewis is long this season, just 44.
Out of bounds at the Husky 36.
Oregon would have loved to have maybe 3 or 4 more yards here, but here is Camden Lewis.
Typically these longer kicks for one that doesn't do a whole bunch of them. They'll try to drive it, see if those Huskies can get their hands up.
From 54 for Lewis. It's on the way, and Lewis left it short. It was a game of mousetrap to get to the end of the first half. 13-10 Washington. Now to Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, Chris Peterson in Los Angeles. The State Farm Halftime Show, guys.
All right, fellas, welcome to the State Farm Halftime Show in L.A. Mike Hill, that is Coach Chris Peterson, Emmanuel Acho right there. I know what you're thinking already. Oregon, you know, they got the #2 scoring offense in the nation since week 1 at over 45 points a game, held to 10 points in that first half. Give credit to the Washington defense, but you're also saying Oregon is kind of kicking themselves in the you-know-what as we take a look at the State Farm halftime highlights.
Oregon, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. That's the saying that coaches say. No need to get fancy. I understand you've done it before, but your quarterback is juiced up. Of course something might...
You're at the line of scrimmage.
Irving on a first down run eventually crawls to the 40-yard line. Bo Nix 9 for 14 in the first half.
But no damage really down the field. You can see that. He missed a couple opportunities. They're not a big intermediate team. It's kind of what they do. Lots of plays at the line of scrimmage. Maybe not as many screens as normal tonight. I'll be curious if Dillingham starts to throw a few of those to just get Bo Nix a little more comfortable in the passing game.
And a whistle before he can peel away.
False start. 71 of the offense. This is a 5-yard penalty. Still, second down.
One of the better tandems on the West Coast.
They're going to run it. It is Nix, and he goes crashing down with Asa Turner. Third down. Bucky Irving on the run there. Third down for the Ducks. That touchdown drive was 8 straight runs. Nix takes off right down the zipper of the defense, and he slip and slides his way basically to Redmond or something.
Well, it's this little motion in the backfield, right? And it just moves those linebackers. Irving, it's subtle. But that little motion took the eyes of the linebackers and took them out of the box. That was just eerily similar for the Huskies to the touchdown run of Bo Nix earlier.
The ends were coming. Nix snaps it off. Middle of the field. There it is. Dont'e Thornton.
Well, those ends in that D-line that have been suffocating in the pocket, they get there again. The tandem of Trice and Martin, but this time Bo stands strong. Get the matchup you want. Your stud fast receiver on the nickelback for the first touchdown of the season for Thornton.
Kenny Dillingham said to us that Dont'e Thornton was just talking to Bo Nix over on the sideline, and Nix said to him, "That's my boy."
He can get up and go. I mean, we saw it in the first half. Troy Franklin ran behind this defense, just missed. Thornton at 6'5" out of Baltimore, Maryland, from coast to coast. Could not draw up a better drive for Bo Nix. Get him comfortable, get him running. Sometimes QBs just need to get hit a little bit to set up that pass. I think he in particular, that was another dime from the heavens.
Washington's first chance here in the second half. That kick ends up out of bounds as well.
What's up with these kickers?
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball replaced at the 35-yard line. First and 10.
Downstairs, Allison.
With Kalen DeBoer at the half, Washington head coach, really pleased just with how sound and consistent his team was in that first half. He said they got off to a fast start offensively because they were able to execute at a high level, not get behind the chains. As far as the game management and kicking those field goals, he said it continues to just be trying to find that balance between not settling but also not taking any crazy chances. There's certainly something, he said, being able to just get that lead on the road and take control of the game a little bit.
Yeah, Allison, I think it just tries to put the pressure on that opponent, but the challenge is you give up an and explosive. The challenge is you come out of halftime, and now you've reignited these fans, and this is a critical drive for Michael Penix and company.
Penix scanning, fires, got McMillan down the sideline, and he tiptoes out of bounds. You know, it's interesting because you've shut down Oregon generally, but how long can you do it if you're Washington?
Well, what they did beautifully in that first half, remember, too, is they maximized this play clock. They ate up possessions.
Now we have 2 linemen and a quarterback and receivers everywhere. It is Penix on the roll and throw, and that was as beautiful of a play as it looked from the start.
That was no bueno. Started 3 for 3 on third downs, then 0 for 3. You take that shot on 3rd and 1. I don't think Kalen DeBoer, that's the way they repped it during practice, but this becomes a must.
Oregon scheduled to get Jamal Hill back after the targeting penalty last week. He has not been on the field yet in this first Washington drive to safety. Out of the shotgun, it is a run for Davis, and he does have a spinning first down.
That looked a little bit like Bucky Irving running through tackles, just not going to be denied. This is one of the worst running back crews in college football, breaking tackles. Just 0.13 broken tackle per carry. Well, that time you could see a different intensity from Cam Davis. An arm tackle was not going to stop him.
Davis, who made his collegiate debut against Oregon, as Hill does hit the field. The safety back there at the top of the formation at the 36. Penix to throw a little bit high, and Odunze rescues it in front of Dante Manning.
Yeah, this receiver team is pretty special. Jamal Hill back in the game. You know he's got fresh legs, and he's going to try to help in this coverage against the Odunzes and the McMillans. And any ball in their territory seems to go their way.
It's a first down run for Taulapapa and Washington. There's Jamal Hill talking to his 2 corners, Bridges and Gonzalez. He said he's usually really fired up, and he's just going to be extra fired up on a halftime.
He is just steady and force back there. Play quite a bit of personnel. The Ducks rotating guys in and out.
Odunze in motion, play action to him. It's a throw. It's Odunze coming across the formation and pushed out of bounds by Gonzalez. Second and 8 run. Taulapapa gets to the fringe, and that is a first down, Washington.
Nice job there by Taj Davis, the receiver. You're going to see him come from the right side in help blocks right there. The safety after securing the edge. As Allison said, tremendous balance in that first half. 14 runs, 14 passes for the #1 passing team in the country. That kind of balance makes it difficult to defend.
Penix. That's a laser to the sideline, and first and goal for Washington because of West over the top. It's a run again. It's Davis lurching forward. He lost the football. Was he over is the question, and the answer is yes. It's a touchdown, Washington. Looks like a touchdown to me, Brock.
Pretty close with that right elbow, but it just has to break the plane. It's now 11 rushing touchdowns in every single one of them this year in the red zone for Davis.
He scores a touchdown every 8 carries. That was his 8th carry. They're going to review it. The ruling on the field is touchdown, so you'd need clear and convincing proof that it wasn't a touchdown to overturn.
The leg drive and the power. It's just the left elbow's down there. Does the ball break the plane, Dean Blandino? Are you seeing any look here to overturn the call on the field?
Not yet, Brock. We're looking for a body part other than a hand or foot, so it's going to be, looks like that left knee that may hit first. Now we have to piece a couple of angles together, which they can do in the replay booth. One angle shows the knee, the other angle shows the ball on the goal line. Piece those together and maybe get a definitive look. To me, right now, this has to stand.
We're all in agreement here, Dean. Thank you for distilling that. Here's the look at the knee.
I think the knee, the right elbow, I think the ball has crossed the plane. Both offenses, I think, got some messaging at halftime.
You think maybe?
Yeah, just to go finish and to go play to your strengths.
After reviewing the play, the touchdown is confirmed.
They confirm it in the replay booth. And Cameron Davis and Bo Nix are the most likely runners in the country to score from scrimmage and just zigzag through everybody for like a 75-yard touchdown. He is a highly competitive young man and very clearly did not like his first half. Lucky Irving upright and trucking through Huskies across the 40-yard line.
Well, that's missed tackle number 10, missed tackle number 11, and at some point they're not missed tackles. They're forced broken tackles by the strength of Irving. You're on the spot right there. That's Powell, the corner, ducks his head. And Irving, as he's done all season long, runs right through those arms.
Slide step through for a gain of 3. He breaks about 1 tackle per 2 runs.
You know, and the key is you want to put your running back on corners. If the O-line is doing their job, receivers doing their job, go block the safety, go block the big people, and then allow these dynamic running backs to take their chances on any corner.
You saw a scan of that offensive line that has played so well together, only allowing the 1 sack all year, and they dispute that as a sack even. There's the quick release by Nix for Hutson. He breaks to the outside, and Hutson gets spiked down hard by Green, the freshman.
Not seen as much screen game tonight, and you may see that here in the second half, especially if you get numbers like that. 3 on 3, you again will take your chances. That time, Asa Turner is left field turn.
Well, you watched that Colorado game and charted how quickly Bo Nix got the ball out of his hand. Irving to Nix. That's a backward pass. He's able to throw it forward, and he does. That's Franklin on the fringe, dancing across the 35.
Hoping to get him 15 to 20 snaps tonight. But now you're feeling the number 2 offense in America. This is a lot more like rhythm-wise, tempo-wise, urgency-wise of what you've seen over the course of the season.
And it has been a cleaner pocket for Bo Nix, a quicker release for Bo Nix here in the second half. Whittington, a driving run to the 29.
But this is what Washington has to do. A nice tackle there by Bright. You've got to make Oregon earn it. And they've done that. Other than the explosive play to Thornton, they have basically made Oregon, hey, it's 4, it's 5, it's 6. You're going to have to possess the ball. Not too many freebies, lots of broken tackles. But that was the plan tonight. Make them drive at the length of the field.
Franklin down at the bottom with Green, the freshman. It's another run. It's Whittington. Pinballing outside. Touchdown.
I know we're not supposed to have favorite players, but Alex Forsythe, the center for Oregon, may just be that for me in college football. He is the grown man. He's the 6th-year captain who's been through so much in his life. The guys love him. The team follows him. And that time, Whittington ran right behind him for 6.
Dan Lanning had his video team take video of Alex Forsythe around the facility when he didn't know it was happening, when he was just practicing, getting ready, taking reps, that uncommon sort of care touchdowns galore in the second half so far. 3 straight drives have ended in touchdowns. Number 6 Oregon has the lead once more, and this kick is laced just through the end zone for a touchback. Back to the touchdown.
Okay, a couple things. I've not seen a center do what Alex Forsythe does when he snaps the ball, and look how quickly he's already into the D lineman before the ball is even in the hands of Whittington. That's awesome. Now look at the feet of Whittington. Right, they do all of these bag drills. Running backs love to do these drills. Cut, cut, cut. Look at the feet of Whittington in the hole. See you later. Over 200 yards rushing. The Ducks on their way, I think, to a 300-yard rushing night.
The crowd has been a constant tonight at Hutson Stadium. Taulapapa breaks it down and gets hit. Well, Justin Flowe's pretty excited.
Shocker. Guy has, I think he has passion when he just walks on the field. He is, what do they call him, Heme Monster?
He calls himself that, the Heme Monster.
Yeah.
His teammates say that it's 7 in the morning and it's cold outside and they're practicing, and he's the guy out there screaming.
Oh, linebackers. Different breeds.
They say that about quarterbacks as well. That's the first tackle for loss for Oregon today. With Brandon Dorless back in on the line. Penix uncorks middle of the field on the hands of Polk. And he is out of here. There's a marker down back at the 14. And it looks like it's on the hit of Penix. 76 yards to Polk.
Result of the play is a touchdown. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. The defense. Penalty will be forced on the kickoff.
Well, there's the Heme Monster who's screaming. He's screaming unblocked here, and he has the QB in his sights. They protect quarterbacks. That's just a tad late, but how about Penix? He doesn't even flinch. He says, Heme Monster that.
That's a throw right there.
That was ridiculous.
Polk's been through such injury history.
This was 55 yards in the air, Jason, on a dot. With a blitzing madman in your face. And you know you're going to get that little kiss. And you couldn't have laid it out there better. And once again, we've seen now both big plays have come from what? These coordinators, Ryan Grubb in that case, put a receiver on a safety, just like Thornton was on the nickelback. So you get those matchups. You set up formations so you can get the matchup to feast. And we got ourselves a beauty.
Go back to what Michael Penix said to us yesterday when we chatted with him about what his official visit was like after he was in the transfer portal. First time you pick a college, it's somewhat about uniforms, and it's somewhat about the setting and all of the stuff. He showed up at Washington, and he wanted to know the receivers, and he wanted to know the offensive line.
I saw him at Indiana last year. He was broken. Broken. Body was beat up. Spirit was beat up. Didn't really want any part of it. And like a grown man, he wanted to go somewhere, a coordinator he knew, that would set him up for success with personnel that is flourishing.
Both teams are trying to figure out what kickoffs can do for them. Dollars has to cower into the fall of the 11. Allison.
That's what these two teams, these two quarterbacks have in common. They both transferred to schools where they were reunited with their former OCs. Bo Nix in 2019 was with Kenny Dillingham at Auburn. And as you guys mentioned, Penix with Kalen DeBoer at Indiana. And it's interesting because Penix being on campus before all the coaches were able to, he was able to get with his teammates prior to spring, before the coaches kind of give him a head start learning this offense. And DeBoer said it just really sped everything up for them. It also helped them with the buy-in because Penix Fitz could vouch for this system. And then Bo Nix on the other side. Dillingham said having that relationship, it's beneficial, not just from the scheme, the X's and O's, it's the trust, the comfort. They know one another. That process was already in place for those two, and both of them really thriving in these systems.
There's no getting to know you anymore. Irving again through the car wash, and it looked like he might actually been on the back of the defender. He was down. It's a gain of 12.
Well, they found a little something running to the short side of the field, putting numbers right to the field, 3 receivers, and running back. They call this the short side of the field. They like a matchup over there, and they keep going to it.
There you go again. Irving, little sidestep. He spins out of it and gets dragged down at the 39 by Turner.
Well, what it is doing is putting a body on a body and leaving a corner, leaving the safety. Right, look, you got a hat for everybody into that short side. And once again, we're up over 15 missed tackles.
And it's 9 completed tackles by Turner, which is just too many in the run game, right? Nix fields the pressure, throws it for Irving in space. There is a marker down. Irving is not yet, and he gets extended to the 45.
That's going to be on the right tackle.
Holding. 71 in the offense. 10-yard penalty still. First down.
Amuvai Laulu, we've called his name a bunch. Very positive plays, but he's got one of the most difficult matchups on the night right here. Whether it's Trice, whether it is Martin, in this case it's Trice, and you can see he reaches, he grabs, actually a face mask as well. And then speed and space, Jason. I mean, it's the speed advantage at the DN position. That's about the only advantage the defense has, because on the perimeter, these Ducks are just getting going. And the Huskies in space cannot secure tackles one-on-one.
Hutson. A couple of yards there. William Inge called it the open field race for space game.
An advantage, the Ducks. A nice job there by Carson Brewer. You've got to squeeze. You've got to have leverage. You've got to have inside out. It is so hard in today's game with all this space if you're just living in one-on-one tackles consistently.
With 2 coordinators who know how to use space and manipulate it so well. Nix roaming to the right. Steps up. Uncorks down the field. Franklin. Footballs arching through the Eugene skyline all second half. You know, Troy Franklin went to the same high school as Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac, Menlo Atherton. And there are enough defensive backs going their own way here in the second half.
Sometimes I don't know where you're going, but I trust your finish. A sprint out here by Nix, and he can see the whole play developing in front of him. And they pick on the true freshman. Right, the loss to Perryman in the corner hurts. It puts the true freshman Green from Texas in a position once again, one-on-one with the fastest Duck of them all. Troy Franklin was a big-time recruit. He's still light, he's still under 180 pounds, and he's going to gain strength. But his twitch and speed, as he almost kind of waves goodbye unintentionally to Mr. Green for another 6.
Scoring plays this half. 67, 76, 46, and 29.
He likes it.
He likes a lot of things. It's kind of a wide array of stuff going on in this crowd. This is such a fun place to watch a college football game. Awesome.
And those guys that try to figure out how many points are going to be scored in a game, like at halftime, I've learned to trust their instincts a little bit because they're usually pretty good. And these 2 coordinators on both sides, equally up to the task of putting their talent in a position to thrive.
We've seen 5 touchdowns in a matter of 11-20. This quarter is not over. Cameron Davis, little bobble. Davis keeps his feet and does get doused eventually by Dante Manning. So first down for Washington.
Is this knee down?
Let's see.
The locals certainly thought his knee was down.
Oh boy, it is. Yeah, Washington is going to visit that shadow of the goalpost.
For 1 yard line.
Previous play is under review.
Oh, yeah.
Replay has reviewed the play. The runner's knee was down while it controlled the ball at the 1 yard line.
That's one of those quick point-to-point.
Expedited, right?
Yeah, expedited replay, and this is exactly the situation that was meant for. I have to say, this is as good of a replay booth as we've seen all year.
I would second that. And this is the area they could not get out of in the first half. A 3 and out. And I think the faithful down in that end zone might be the loudest they've been all night for Kalen DeBoer and company.
Penix to throw. And the zip to the outside of Dunze.
Feels like Penix and Dunze. Penix and McMillan. Tonight, Penix and Polk.
Sideline warning. Oregon. First of the game.
Anytime they want that one-on-one matchup, they got it.
5th catch for Dunze. 6 for McMillan. Penix, line drive, McMillan. That's just a clothesline.
That's just an RPO, right? So good luck. They've shown enough balance in the run game. It affects everybody in the front, and there's the little slant, little skinny post glance right off that run action. Unguardable.
Short toss, Davis. He steps out of the ankle tackle and then eventually goes down after a gain of a couple.
I think Davis has watched these other Ducks on the other side and said, former receiver Addison, you reach for my ankles, I'm going to run through those tackles like the Ducks have. Forceful effort in the second half as Taj Davis is trying to figure out a way to slow down this offense.
Gotta hurry, 3 seconds. Might need those timeouts later. This play is live. Now they're gonna blow it dead. Okay.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Can get you 5 yards.
Yeah, it's not worth the 5 yards with 16 minutes to go is the decision there, it looks like. Second down and 9. Penix down the middle, right on target for Polk, who just had the long touchdown.
What is it going to be defensively for one of these two teams? Who's going to get a hand on it? Where's the tip ball going to come from? Because this crew here, providing the pocket they are with a 4-man rush, and the ball that comes out with such anticipation and speed.
Penix, little lob down the middle. It's Davis in space. Cam Davis pushed down by Bassa at the 42. Richard Newton's checked in as a tailback. They will move Westover the other way and go to the pistol. That's the challenge for Taj Davis, is dealing with all the motion. Penix off play action, does throw, and does complete another one to McMillan.
Was an outside receiver all through high school. He comes in the slot here, and just watch this. Want to break down a DB, give him a little shimmy, a little shake, keep it flat. Can't do it better.
Penix has thrown for 315, and there's a quarter left.
Has he missed a throw?
Couple of drops, and he's 21 for 25. Spectacular night for Penix. This is a miss.
That's a miscommunication. Now he shakes his head there. He is expecting Polk versus a single safety to take it up the seam. He cuts to the post, but that's about as negative a body energy as you're going to get, which is yet another strength of his that he does. Credit to Teddy Bridgewater, who had such poise and composure.
Adams, the tailback. Down to 5. Down to 2. There's the snap. Penix reaches back and heaves it to Odunze, who does have the first down at the end of the third quarter. Brian Addison on the coverage.
And it takes a former wide receiver to finally break up a pass to a wide receiver. And you see the speed and length of Addison as he closes. Maybe a tad early contact with that left arm. Could have easily seen that called as it impeded Odunze, but he gets away with the early contact.
Along with the right arm around the back as well. Second down for Washington. Davis hunting the sideline, and he's down at about the 2-yard line. Jeffrey Bassa dragged him down, 3rd and short.
What did William Inge say about space?
There is a marker down here too.
After the play, personal foul, face mask. Defense, number 13. This penalty would be forced half the distance with an automatic first down.
So it was going to be 3rd and 1 from the 2. Now the first down already has happened, and it's 1st and goal.
He got away with a little bit of the early contact on the pass interference, but these guys are just flying, man. It is so hard to play defense against elite teams, especially groups that have offensive lines like these two do, that can run it, that can protect it, and certainly QBs that can throw it.
Penix, first down throw off play action, giving ground. He throws into traffic, and it is intercepted off the deflection. He didn't have to throw it. He did, and Bassa ripped it off.
I think 2 of the most shocking plays today were the Ducks going for it at the end of half, and this play by Penix. They've had success running it. You're into the short area of the field. You just have to throw that to the 4th row.
And he's done it all year.
Yes.
Sewell got the tip on this ball.
I mean, he has Westover, and give Sewell an immense amount of credit for getting his hands up. But on first down, that is a play that the 5th-year senior will get on the phone with Ryan Grubb and say, I know better.
Out-of-character stuff happens in rivalry games across the country all year, and this is no exception. A little step through there from Whittington, getting out of that end zone.
Sometimes when you're so hot, you think you're invincible. When you have fitted into tight windows, and you think, well, this one I'll just zing right by Sewell. But I said to you earlier, there's got to be a tip. There's got to be something. It's about the only way you're going to slow this thing down. Sewell tips it. Bassa, an incredible effort to finish it.
Whittington again, changing direction. He's got the first down, and this is what Oregon has done well, sort of under the radar this year with all the 40-point games, is run the football.
This, I think, becomes with a defensive-minded head coach in Dan Lanning, who is hyper-aggressive. He's watched this offense run for 215 yards, well, 243 yards now. I think he reminds Kenny Dillingham, the Huskies don't have an answer for the run game And Bo Nix is awfully dangerous in that phase as well.
Nix to throw. Got it to Hutson. And Hutson gets nailed just short of the line to gain. But you talked about it off the top. As you see the big lick that Hutson takes here. You talked about it. That both coaches, and Allison talked about it too, have leaned into the rivalry. Dan Lanning was playing the Washington fight song over and over again at practice this week to the point where basically all of his players said, we don't want to hear it ever again. The stakes are high emotionally here tonight. It's Whittington.
Well, in the previous regime, Mario Cristobal built a crew to run it. Recruited tremendous people at the line of scrimmage. They've developed them. I pointed to Alex Forsythe, who again and again is the captain and the voice in the middle of it. And these are moments that O-lines and run games like this live for.
Bucky Irving for a first down. In a situation like this, what demeanor do you want out of an offensive line?
I want an elephant walk. Just right down the field. I know they call it 4-minute drill. Let's go 8-minute drill. Let's huff and puff just like that and be like a bunch of elephants just stomping and stomping and stomping your way down the field.
Nix got it out of his hand quickly again. Hutson in space. He lost the ball. He got back on it. It looks like that was a live football.
And in some ways, honestly, that's just a run game. Right? That's just the extended toss sweep. Today, as you see.
Really is a fumble forward out of bounds. The ball will
he's
turn
down.
to the spot of the fumble, second down.
Now it's Oregon using some clock on a 3-minute plus drive so far. Irving didn't like door number 1. And door number 2 got him 2 yards. Jeremiah Martin the tackle.
So do you sell out here if you're Washington? Do you just run blitz and put everybody at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 2? But if so, that really burdens some inexperienced young corners out in one-on-one as well. They will not do it.
7 in the box. Whittington charging forward. First down, Oregon.
Gosh, his feet are so good. Christopher Roll, the linebacker, watch him right here. He's got him sized up until he doesn't. I mean, that's Allen Iverson crossover stuff.
That is a great call. That is a basketball crossover. Go right back there, and he jams on the veer to the right. It's second down coming up. They run behind that line again, and Washington again cannot tackle Bucky Irving right in the hole, and it's first down.
Okay, so I gave you the Allen Iverson crossover. What is this?
Well, it's not Dikembe Mutombo on the block.
I mean, what do you do?
It's no fun to be a defensive player in this game.
Nope.
Five minutes plus. The ball's been in the hands of Oregon. Remember we were talking to Alex Forsythe last time we were here, and we asked him, what does a good Dan Lanning impression have to include? And he said, well, it's definitely the phrase power in the unit and connected, right? He's all about the team atmosphere of specific rooms in the facility, and this offensive line is showing that right here.
They're grown men, Jason, and they're even without Ryan Walk. They lost in the first quarter, but the rest of them are picking up the slack and imposing their will.
Whittington. Man.
And what happens, and we've heard this from so many defensive coordinators this year, we see the end result. Right? You're watching the ball, you're looking at that one-on-one missed tackle, but what you're not seeing is the guys up front not defeating blocks. You've got to defeat blocks. You've got to squeeze space. You've got to make it difficult, because if you're time and again in one-on-one situations, advantage offense. Look at this drive.
Rockets 10 runs and 2 passes, and the passes have been like runs to this point on the drive. A little sidestep again, and the soft shoe for Whittington has another Oregon first down.
Well, at some point here, I think you have to nix up front. At some point, you have just got to put people at the line of scrimmage. You've got to bring those safeties from 8 yards deep to 4 yards deep. If you're William Inge, you've got to do something. But then the challenge is Bo Nix can look at it and go, okay, great. Then I'll take advantage of some of these one-on-one matchups to the outside, but they've got no answers at the point of attack right now.
Yeah, does then Kenny Dillingham already have the answer to your question that you posed to him? Irving on the spin. He's wiped out after a gain of 4. We're under 7 to go suddenly.
And this is what championship teams do in November. As Ulafosio is back in there trying to stop this run game, but this is championship football. Explosive plays, check mark. Respond at halftime, check mark. Go out and finish in the 4th quarter and pound the football. Typically what the best teams do in November and December.
It's another run. This time it's Nix on the keeper, and it's going to set up another 3rd and 1, which again puts 2.5 more minutes off the clock in peril. We got an injured player down. Somebody was signaling he's hurt, but they're going to get Tuputala off the field. So Bruner comes in. Under 6 to go. An 8-minute plus march down the field. Whittington did get the first down. Jeremiah Martin came hammering through there, but it is a first down, Oregon.
That was incredible effort by Martin right here, coming all the way down the line of scrimmage and actually stopping one of these backs in their tracks for the first time, but not before that ball at first contact got to the 15.
So Penix threw the interception on the tip ball. Washington was about to go in. The Huskies haven't seen the ball since. Little test of the brake pads that time for Whittington.
Look at these offensive linemen. How many plays in this drive now?
It's a 16-play drive that just turned to 17.
How many 17-play drives? They don't get in the huddle. Look at the conditioning. You can see right now, Forsyth's shoulder, it is barking. His body is hurting, and these guys just line up for more.
Yeah, about 5 minutes ago, I think they forded the river. This is as close to the Oregon Trail as you're going to see in one drive in college football season. Irving, the tailback, down.
Just grabs.
So the training staff is out there, and Ty Thompson, who we've seen for a grand total of 20 passes this year, the redshirt freshman, is getting ready. Now the question is, they're going to help Bo Nix off.
Oh, you've got to kick a field goal here. I mean, you're not going to put a redshirt freshman in a 4th and 3 environment, especially when you go up 7 with a field goal.
I mean, that is not a good sign for the Oregon Ducks. Kenny Dillingham's protege, Bo Nix, is very gingerly walking off the field. And Oregon's perfect Pac-12 season rests in 404 here tonight, but also down the road with Utah coming in next week, and then a trip to Corvallis, and then maybe the Pac-12 title game. Bo Nix's status will hang out there for the moment. for now. Camden Lewis from 26 drives it through in half minutes. And now Washington's offense, which has been orphaned without the ball, will get it back.
Thompson there as Bo Nix is in the injury tent, and you know Michael Penix wants to make up for that interception at the goal line.
That's what led to a 10-minute-plus drive for Oregon to take a 7-point lead. This kick is out of bounds. It's the third one of the half.
Free kick out of bounds. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First and 10, Washington.
Well, you mentioned it. Michael Penix Jr. now is second in a single season in school history to Cody Pickett. And Penix, who at Indiana was a very good player but didn't put up these gargantuan numbers, he, like Bo Nix, has been totally transformed in a new home.
He was 8 yards shy of a 300-yard game a week ago. He's over 300 again. That's 9 on the season. And, well, we've seen it, and these faithful have seen it. And he sets his feet and rips it.
Penix, clean pocket to throw down the sideline. He drops it in for Davis down the sideline, and there's nobody home. For a possible tie.
Jason, there are very few in all the land that can make that for a drive did.
What's
it
that?
Shortened this game train. And holding Oregon to a field goal critical as you see Nix trying to talk himself into the game.
He's hopping up and down. He wants to go in. 4th down and 1 for Oregon from its own 34. Will they snap it here? Yes. Whittington slips. Washington takes over. Unreal.
I can't believe what we just watched. Tremendous penetration by Ulofoshio. He may have made the tackle, but Whittington's feet fall from underneath him. But more than that, Jason, if you don't take a timeout, Bo Nix is trying to tell you, the best sneaker in college football, that he's ready to go back into the game. And Dan Lanning, in that moment, does not take the timeout and has set the Huskies up with prime real estate.
2 timeouts for each team. 86 seconds on the clock. Penix to throw. He takes the tight end Westover across the 25-yard line.
Jason, why did they not take a timeout?
I don't know. Bo Nix was hopping up and down. You have 2 of them left. A wild sequence that has big college football playoff ramifications and Pac-12 ramifications while we're at it. It's going to be 3rd down and 1 in their Penix. Instead of forcing a ball that, like one that led to the pick earlier, he throws it out of bounds, 3rd and 1. Minute flat. 2 first-year head coaches.
Who do you trust in the biggest play of the game yet?
The run game and Davis. He's not going to get there. Brandon Dorless, Noah Sewell, 4th down.
Second timeout of the half, Oregon.
Now Oregon uses a timeout, and it rests on the leg of Peyton Henry like it did last week as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Yeah, the third quarter was a blur of nothing but offensive explosion between both sides. Defenses had absolutely no answer. Couldn't make a tackle, couldn't contain explosive plays. 2 elite quarterbacks went home run for home run, including that dime to Mr. Franklin again, and you wondered, would there be enough points on the scoreboard? For Noah Sewell with the big tip, Bassa the interception. A 10-minute drive, 20 plays ensues, but it ends only in a field goal. Penix touchdown. And here you go.
We ran into Peyton Henry's father earlier today, over the weekend, and he said, I think I'm the only person in the stadium that cares about the win. Peyton Henry is looking for his second straight game winner for the Washington Huskies. This is good.
Check is good.
That guy may still have a little say in the final 51 seconds. But what a big-time delivery by the sixth-year kicker. That would have been good with the old arena goalpost. He absolutely hits it clutch. But there is a lot of time. And I think Bo Nix is coming back in this game. And those fans that may be bumming right now will hear a roar when number 10 comes back on the field. See this too, that 3rd and 1 call. I don't know if UW sidelines could see Bo Nix hopping. I don't know if they knew whether or not he could come back into the game. But that was a pretty conservative 3rd and 1 call. And had they known that number 10's coming back in, I put that ball in Penix's hands and trust him on that 3rd and 1.
Instead, Washington takes the field goal and leaves some time. Goes to kick it away. Fair catch for Dollars. Bo Nix. We told you about his competitiveness. We told you about the fact that in high school, he gave up a long touchdown in the very next play from scrimmage. He had his favorite run of his high school career because he was just so mad that he gave up the touchdown. He wants to be on the field, and he will be with 51 seconds.
And you've got to get it to about 45 yards as a field goal. We saw Lewis miss earlier from 52, 53. You got a timeout. And he's got to know, to your point, that those legs, if that pocket breaks down, are some of his most valuable tools.
On the roll, Nix wants to throw, slings it incomplete off the hand of Irving and just not on target, 2nd down.
Is he hobbling a little?
A little bit.
Don't
you think?
Yeah, that does not look like just the normal giddy up right there.
And we've seen Alex Forsythe in pain earlier tonight as well.
You know that has to be so debilitating in this moment if he can't get up off his knee.
The bedrock of this Oregon offense.
I mean, these young men have emptied the tank. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And there you see Powers Johnson. He is a very capable center. He came into the game a week ago. Adrian Clem there, the O-line coach. He is more than competent at playing the center position. But to your point, communicating, calming. That stud right there that is just trying to work that shoulder and that arm back into place. And this also gives the Huskies now time on their side to realize it is Bo Nix. It's not the redshirt freshman Thompson that is out there in the plan for the next 45 seconds.
The Oregon Ducks have one of the greatest home win streaks in the country right now, 3rd in the FBS, but also in school history. The streak started with a win over a ranked Washington team in 2018. Will it end tonight against Washington?
You've got to attack that true freshman corner at some point in 45 seconds, don't you?
You would think so. Nix wants to throw. Down the middle of the field and incomplete. Dropped by Irving, 3rd down.
He had some turf in front of him, too, and we've seen the damage he does with any space.
3rd down 10.
This place is getting awfully quiet.
As quiet as we've heard it all night long, with Oregon's undefeated Pac-12 possibility on the line.
Season long.
Nix feels the rush, and for the second time all year, he's sacked. Trice got in there. 4th down.
Jason, this is a 3-man rush, and we have seen this tonight. Amuvailaulu just gets beat off the jump, and Bo Nix doesn't have that explosion. He didn't have that bounce. He is trying to fight through injury, but Trice feasts, and the Ducks have to burn their final timeout.
The Arizona-UCLA game is starting on FS2 and the Fox Sports app. For those of you watching here on Fox, Arizona-UCLA is coming up next at the conclusion of our game here in Eugene. And you see on the sideline Ja'Lynn McMillan, who had one of the biggest plays in this game, reaching over Christian Gonzalez for an alternating possession catch, trying to fire up the troops for one more stop.
And that guy's calm and cool, but I guarantee you, in his heart, he's saying one more time. Just one more snap for the biggest win in his career.
Oregon's won 15 of the last 17 against Washington. A number 6 ranking on the line for the Ducks. 4th and 14. Nix throws. Nix got it there. Franklin, 1st down, Oregon.
Hustle now, got to hustle, get to the line.
.25 seconds. Nix scanning, drops it off. Bucky Irving wants to get to the sideline. Now dodges across midfield, takes a hit over on the sideline. The crowd wanted a marker. 14 seconds to go.
ZTF here on the end. Has a chance, but as we have seen with Bucky Irving time and again, breaks that tackle right there. He gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
No timeouts. 14 seconds. Oregon winners of 8 straight.
Cannot get sacked.
And there is a whistle before the snap. It's a timeout, Washington.
Second timeout of the half.
Let's take a look at our Ram power player, brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve over 400 yards for Michael Penix Jr.
Did not flinch. Critical interception late, and you just knew that he was going to respond. And boy, did he ever with one of the throws of the college football season right now.
The long this year for Camden Lewis is 44 yards. That would be at the 27. 14 seconds for Bo Nix.
Have to block the edges.
Nix rolling. Has to throw quickly. Got it out there in the field of play. Hutson with time ticking. The clock stops for the 1st down. Hutson goes down. And now look. Hutson is down and hurt. Because the clock was stopped for a 1st down to move the chains, there would be, in this situation, no 10-second runoff.
And that's exactly what the official is telling Kalen DeBoer right now. If it is caught short of the sticks, this game is over. And Ja'Lynn is shaking his head, and he knows this is what happens in the greatest of rivalry games. It goes down to the very last second.
So now, when he gets up,
you gotta be ready to clock it immediately.
That's exactly right.
And they're going to say that right now.
So Hutson has to come off. Now Washington uses a timeout. So it's first down. Oregon has the ball inside the 40-yard line. What do you run here?
Well, the ball has to go beyond the marker. You cannot, I think, take any risk to catch it short of the marker. So you've got to get it past the marker. This is outside the range of Camden Lewis, who again is tremendously accurate, but not the greatest of length.
Six seconds for Bo Nix.
Speaking of composure.
Four seconds. Nix to the sideline, and this is Franklin at the sideline. He caught the ball, and they're going to say he is out of bounds. I believe there's a marker in there as well. That was right on the sideline.
Did he go out of bounds and come back in? What is this marker for?
There's an official without a hat, so it very well could be that.
Now, is he forced out? Is he bumped and pushed out of bounds? That's the conversation.
Illegal touching. Forward pass. Number one of the offense went out of bounds on his own. Return with the first player to touch the pass. The penalty is a loss of down at the previous spot.
At the previous spot as well.
And just 1 second left.
Now, again, the question is, was he forced out of bounds? If so, that's a totally different story.
Exactly.
Dean Blandino's watching this. We got 1 second. Dean, what do you see?
Yeah, looking at that now, whether he was forced out is not reviewable, but whether he actually stepped on the sideline is. So replay can look at whether he did step out, but whether he was forced out is not a reviewable aspect.
Dean, as you look at that, and they are going to see whether or not he was out of bounds, as you look at that on first blush, is he forced out of bounds?
It certainly looks like there was some contact, but again, that's a judgment call that the official has to make, and it has to be something overt.
How open and obvious does overt have to be? What's an example of overt?
I think anything, when you're looking at fouls like that, you want to see something that jumps out. If there's just a touch or anything like that, then they're going to say that the receiver went out of bounds on his own. So again, they cannot review this aspect of it. What they're going to be looking at is, did that right foot right there step on the sideline before he reestablished and then came back in to make the catch?
What do you see?
From that angle, I can't tell.
Yeah. I will say this, that linesman down the line did not hesitate. He is looking right down at the back judge, correct? And he is looking for that.
That's exactly what he's looking at. He has the look down the line, and he's got the foot touching the white, and then the receiver reestablishing.
And I will say this too, Dean, that is a pretty savvy play there by the freshman Green to not leave any room for Franklin. Right, kind of hip checked him. Yeah, kind of hip checked him, closed that space so that Franklin was going to go by him, because they're playing, remember, to keep everything in bounds, to keep it in front. They're going to throw short. They were not going to be able to with where Green was positioned there, and that positioning also forced him out of bounds.
I will say, if you're an Oregon fan, though, you say if the margin is that small on the sideline of the foot on the edge, then why didn't we get the benefit of a small touch guiding him to the sideline, right? If it's one margin one way, shouldn't it be the same margin of how much the touch has to be on the other side? That would be their argument.
What was Dean's word in the rule book? Overt?
Overt.
Is that overt? Again, it's one of those gray areas.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think most would say, let the players determine the outcome, right? Let the players. You said earlier about this replay booth. They have been on it from beginning to end, all 59 minutes and 59 seconds down to the final one.
By the way, if you're tuning in for the Arizona-UCLA game, that'll come up right after we're done here at Hutson Stadium. Now, if this is a penalty, it's going to be loss of down from the previous spot as well. Is where the penalty will be enforced from.
The ramifications of this call are enormous.
After reviewing the play, the ruling of illegal touching stands. Second down, the previous spot. The clock will start on the snap.
So that will be debated, but it's not reviewable, the act of pushing.
The judgment is not. Now here comes a Hail Mary with just 1 second left as well. Well, this ball's got to get to the end zone.
Remember, Lewis was short from 54 earlier. One last heave for Bo Nix. Feeling the rush again. Climbing the pocket and throwing incomplete. The Washington Huskies have upset Oregon.